Hi everyone, this is Jordan with Torch Prep. The purpose of this video is to talk about the geometry test, and we're going to cover content and strategies. So the four focus areas of this video are going to be timing and structure, content, strategies for the test, as well as the online calculator. So the way that this test is timed there are two testing portions. The first part of the test is 90 minutes. The second portion is also 90 minutes. There's approximately 56 points available. This is give or take a couple points depending on the year. They change this number. And there are approximately 25 to 30 questions per section. The content that is covered, I'm not going to go into this in full detail. This covers what is on the Ohio state standards for geometry, but the four categories that the test is split up between is congruence and proof, similarity and trigonometry, circles, and probability. A conversation we love to have with students is, what is a win for you? Most students, if you ask them, if you are going to have a geometry test tomorrow, what grade would be a win for you? A lot of students will say B, a lot of students will say A. Maybe you get a couple people who are happy with a C, but the overwhelming majority is, 80% or higher to be a win for them on a test. But we love to change that conversation with students when it comes to this test, because most students are not shooting for a 4 or a 5. They just need like a 3 on this test to move them closer to graduation and getting enough points. So if a student is shooting for a 3, a win for them is actually only 50% of the questions right on this test. So again, love to tell students, hey, to be successful on this test, you just need an F. And the idea for a student of needing an F on a test can be really empowering. And when they're approaching this test and they think, oh, I just need to get half of the questions right instead of I need to get 80% of these questions right, it makes a big difference for them, makes a big difference for how engaged they are in the test, and really their self-efficacy of how successful they think that they'll be, and that really helps their performance. Another thing about our trainings with students is we have code crackers, and our code crackers are like our hills to die on strategies. So a code cracker for the geometry test is that timing is not a major concern on this test. This test, most students do not complain that they run out of time. They typically have plenty of time. It's often that they just don't know the content on a specific question. If you notice this note, we tell students, unlike the ACT they recently took, all of the sophomores took a practice ACT with us, and most students do run out of time on the ACT, but that isn't so much the case on the OST geometry test. Another thing is students must use text-to-speech on every question. Their brain can get bogged down by all of the reading that they have, and so they have the option of using text-to-speech on every question. The way that they can do this is by using this drop-down right here. And if they click on this drop-down, there's this speak option and speak question, where they have the ability to speak both the question and the answer choices. So click here to have the voice read an answer choice, and then click there to have the voice read the question and answers. Another strategy for students is a three-sweep method. First sweep is to survey, second is to work, third sweep is to guess. So I'm going to show you what that means. So the first sweep is get all of the easy questions. On this test, there are going to be some questions at the beginning, some questions at the end that are easier for students. So we want students to get all the way through the test before getting too discouraged and get all their easy questions that they can. We call that finding the low-hanging fruit. We tell them to commit to grit, that this is a test that they have to grit through. A lot of students don't like math, and so grit through this test, commit to find the low-hanging fruit. So medium questions, they got to grit to get through the rest of the test. The medium questions are going to be hard, they're going to be difficult for them, but they just need to get half of the questions right, and so they've got to stay engaged, grit through it. And we get this question all the time, should I guess? Absolutely. They should never leave a question blank. That is the biggest thing on this test. Never leave a question blank, because they are only graded on the number of points they get correct. They are not penalized for incorrect answers, so they need to at least make an attempt on every question. And then thirdly, the hard questions. If you're in a last resort situation, go ahead and guess. It can benefit them to skip and guess if they're on a hard question because we want them to find the low-hanging fruit first. So there's a built-in calculator. We want you to learn it and students to learn it, to be comfortable with it. Another thing is a formula sheet. This is going to be in a link underneath of this video, is a link to this formula sheet. It's important that your students know what's on it, that you know what's on it, and you can print this out and maybe be using it on some of your assessments with students so that they are familiar with it. So that's about it for the geometry test. There will be a follow-up video that has how to use the calculator, so be looking for that. And there's another video that talks about all of the question types and how to interact with the online platform. But again, the purpose of this video is strategies and content, and you can find those other videos on this page as well.